Harding has left the comfort of Searcy, Arkansas behind and traveled the 1,100 miles to Kutztown, PA. The 2023 national champs don't care where or how long the journey takes, as long as it ends up in McKinney, Texas next week in the national championship. Kutztown is back in the national semis for the second time in 3 years, and the Golden Bears hope a little home cooking will do the job and secure their first shot at Division II glory. You're watching the NCAA Division II National Semifinals on ESPN. It's been a collision course in the making all season long today inside Andre Reed Stadium. Two unbeaten square off. Number 2 Harding, 14-0, ready to take on the home crowd favorite, the Golden Bears of Kutztown, 14-0 as well. They come in ranked number 3 in Division II. Both these teams survived scares last week in the quarterfinals. The winner to get Ferris State. The defending champions putting the finishing touches on Newberry as we speak. And a pleasant good afternoon. Sean Kinney alongside Taylor McHargue. So great to have you with us. Taylor, you get this deep in the postseason, no surprise. It's strength against strength today. Two teams that have a lot of similarities, yet there are some differences.
They've both dominated all season, both 14-0, and it is similar. They want to play good defense, and they want to run the football well. Both sides of the ball in the top 5 in total offense and defense in Division II football. The flexbone offense for Harding, that's going to be the key element. How does Kutztown slow down that rushing attack?
Two offensive juggernauts. Let's start with Harding, and when you run the flex bone, you control the A-gap with the fullback, and they have the perfect player in Andrew Miller.
And that's why Andrew Miller is one of the finalists for the Harlan Hill Award. He has over 1,800 yards like you see here, but it's a 5-headed monster. All 5 of these backs have over 500 yards on the ground. A week ago, you see Andrew Miller, he didn't have as big of a game. Well, who steps up? Cole Keelan at the quarterback position, and that's what's so challenging. If you take one piece away, you got somebody else that can step up.
It's a little bit more balanced and traditional when you look at Kutztown, and this offense peaking at the right time.
And scoring points at a heavy clip down the stretch, over 50 points in there in every game so far in the playoffs. November and December, they're playing their best football, and they're led by their quarterback, Judd Novak, a guy, one of the most efficient quarterbacks in all the country. Has 0 interceptions on the year, and this element right here, when he pulls the football and takes off with it, I think that's something that's going to be key here today with this pass rush for Harding coming after him. Two really good quarterbacks, different styles, but both really good rushing attacks.
Nestled here in eastern Pennsylvania, pretty much halfway between Allentown and Reading. Tiny community of Kutztown, which gets behind this football program. There are no empty seats below us. First ever meeting between these two programs. The Golden Bears won the toss. They elected to defer, so we will get our first look at the flexbone and the Bisons of Harding all the way from Searcy, Arkansas. Semifinal underway from the 5-yard line. This will be Hines out past the 20, scoots his way to the 32. A good return. An excellent starting position for Brandon Hines and the Harding offense, orchestrated by Cole Keelan. Take a look at this number. He's making his 55th start of his career. He's only tasted defeat 4 times. And
55th straight start running the football in this flexbone offense. It's one thing to have that many starts in any offense, but for as physical and violent as this offense is, I think that speaks to the toughness of their quarterback, Cole Keelan.
He is 1 win away from tying Grand Valley State's Colin Finnerty as the all-time wins leader in Division II history. And no surprise, they will try to get Andrew Miller established over the A-gap on the right side.
And you will hear us talk about this all game. That dive back, which typically is Andrew Miller, key to slowing down the flexbone, is limiting that exact play. You can keep that 2 to 3 yards, try to get it to 2nd and 3rd and long, and that's a position Harding very rarely finds themselves in. They are so good at getting it to 3rd and short. You'll also see this offense stay on the field quite a bit and make it 4-down territory.
Miller coming off back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons. He's a homegrown product, grew up in Searcy. Second down and 6. They will pitch it to the speedster Jay, trying to get to the corner, and he is chased down by Brandon Heil.
Great pursuit from Heil just to get that to a 3rd and short. Looked like this was going to be a first down on the outside. Good read from Cole Keelan. Dive backs, take it away, kick it to the outside. You see the huge block there from Christian Franklin. A lot of times he is the lead back. Number 9 gets out on the edge. Good block on the perimeter.
3rd down. Harding, one of the best at converting on 3rd downs. And on their first test, it looks like with the spot, they will move the chains.
If you're a fan of Harding football, this looks very familiar. 3 downs, picks up 10.5 yards, and another first down. Nothing fancy about this. Running at midline with Andrew Miller right in the A-gap, just enough to pick up their first down of the day.
It's always interesting when you play a flex bone offense. You can prepare all week. You can have the assignments really down to a cue. But until you're in the game speed, this opening drive can be eye-opening. Up the middle they go, and the quarterback keeps his balance. Cole Keelan stumbling his way into plus territory on the Golden Bears side.
And the quarterback, Cole Keelan, is who had to step up a week ago. Good job recognizing over pursuit of the outside, get vertical and pick up a first down. A week ago against Texas Permian Basin, Andrew Miller and Braden Jay, not as big a performance as you typically see out of those two. It was Cole Keelan that had to step up, had almost 150 yards on the ground.
And as you might expect, he is banged up. As a quarterback of this offense, he gets popped nearly on every play, and there he goes. Keelan in the clear. He's to the 5, caught from behind, but too late. Touchdown for the senior, 43 yards.
And picked up right where he left off from a week ago. Had a 50-yard touchdown against Texas Permian Basin. Blocked up well. You see, starts with the not even dive back. This is just a lead. You see that huge block from Andrew Miller. Sealed up well on the right side, and then enough speed to get to the end zone for the first score of the day from Cole Keelan.
This play is under further review.
It is a Great Lakes Valley Conference officiating crew, our referee Alan Davis, and they are going to take a look upstairs to see if Keelan was down before the end zone.
Called a touchdown on the field, so do we have enough here? That's close. Sean, this will be a good look at it right here. That right knee down. That, to me, looks like he's at about the half-yard line. But again, Sean, called a touchdown on the field. Is that enough from that angle to overturn this call?
Great hustle play by Lee Coleman.
I was just about to say the same thing for Lee Coleman, tracking this down, trying to make this a play. You can see him striking for the football as well. Credit to Cole Keelan for hanging on to it. I would have this down at about the half-yard line. I don't think he got in.
Ryan McCleary is our replay official, and these are the different angles that they are taking a look at. And as Taylor described, ruling on the field is a touchdown. So is there enough evidence to overturn the original call? And we both agree we think there is here. This probably will be our best vantage point.
Completely agree, Sean. I think that's the best angle right there, and I think that shows down at about the half-yard line.
Regardless, what a start on the road by Harding as they impose their will. They get the 3rd down conversion, and then the long run here by Keelan.
And you see the variation in the offense, right? You start with handful, you have the lead back on the midline, but then that play that just went for what we think will be almost a touchdown, your guy that's the Harlan Hill finalist, Andrew Miller, he becomes the lead blocker. It just speaks to how unselfish this bunch is. Everybody gets a turn in this offense.
After review, the half-yard line, first down, Harding.
So as we both expected, fighting through some microphone issues, Alan Davis, but they will mark it inside the 1, and it will be the goal line offense for Paul Simmons and the Bisons here on the road. He was fired up for this one. They were not happy that they had to travel 1,100 miles away from their home stadium where they have won 24 straight games. First down and goal. Keelan will try to finish the job, and he is not there. Denied. Good resistance up front.
Credit to that interior defensive line. You see Kyrie Butler, Freddie Redder. All of this is about pushing the interior. You see Mikey Gray in there as well, able to submarine low enough and stymie Cole Keelan from being able to get in the end zone.
This is such an intriguing matchup because you look at defensively for Kutztown, they have not lost the A-gap all season with the duo of Butler and Gray, and we all know what Harding can do up the middle. Second down and goal. Looked like Miller almost had a head start there. He's going to plunge his way in for the touchdown. And the Golden Bears saw what I spotted. It looked like he had a fraction of a second head start as he hit the hole.
Thought the same thing as well. Take a look. Watch number 8 right there. I mean, that's a false start. He's got a full half step. You're all over it, Sean. I think that should have been a false start. Harding very fortunate that this isn't second goal from the 6 right now.
An impressive opening drive. Miller with the touchdown. Magnus Lepak adds the point after. And Harding has no trouble adjusting to the chilly temperatures of PA. They have arrived in the Commonwealth. Miller with the early touchdown. The Bisons fire the opening salvo. You talk about a culture builder. Paul Simmons has done that in Searcy, Arkansas. Year 9, the 2023 National Coach of the Year. He was a 3-time All-American linebacker. He was a hard hitter back in his playing days for the Bisons. And what's so unique about this coaching staff, every single one of his assistants was a player for Harding. On the other side, the winningest coach, Kutztown history, is Jim Clements. Year number 11. He's had 11 seasons, all 11 winning, with 5 of those seasons securing 10 or more wins, and for the second time in 3 years guiding the Golden Bears deep in the Division II playoffs.
And the first time, feels like in all the postseason for Kutztown, that they've been punched in the mouth a little bit. Opening drive score for Harding. See if there's an answer here on the other side for the Golden Bears.
Bouncing kick. Picked up on the short hop and then exploding it out past the 25 to the 32-yard line goes Lenny Preston. Talked about the Harlan Hill finalists. For Kutztown, it's Judd Novak, and this guy does not make mistakes.
0 turnovers all season, 0 interceptions, and every game in the playoffs on this run to the semifinals, 3 touchdowns and 0 interceptions. Does a great job getting the ball out of his hands quickly, and we talked about it in the open. I think the element that they will lean on today, design quarterback run game. This is a really solid pass rush for Harding. I think a way to neutralize that, design +1 quarterback run game for Judd Novak.
He's very selective when he takes off, but he always seems to make the right decision. They start from the 32. Cutting back is Stephen Burkhart. Part of a 2-headed backfield when you look at Burkhart, now a healthy Jaden Stewart, who had missed some time earlier this year.
And those two, between Stewart and Burkhart, really have taken turns. Part of that, like you mentioned, Jaden Stewart had hurt a couple times during this season at different bouts of the season, but they've really been a 2-headed monster, depending on who's healthy, carrying this offense on the ground.
Second down, little hitch pattern along the far side. Preston makes the catch, and then he is pushed out of bounds by Troy Wiseman.
Good easy down recognition, just a simple hitch to the outside, taking advantage of some quick game. This is something UTPB did a nice job of against Harding a week ago. A lot of checkdowns underneath completions. Big 3rd and short here. Don't be surprised, Sean, we talked about this, if this is 4-down territory.
Novak checking over toward the far sideline. 3rd down. Again, these two teams so good offensively on 3rd downs. Harding 3rd in the country, Kutztown 4th, and both teams with an early 3rd down conversion in this one.
Good physical run between the tackles. tackles. We talk about it potentially being 4-down territory. That comes directly from head coach Jim Clements, who told us we cannot afford to have 3 and outs and give the ball right back to Harding because they dominate time of possession. He said if we get this into 3rd and manageable, 3rd and short, and don't pick it up, do not be surprised if we keep our offense on the field and go for it on a number of 4th downs.
Golden Bears have it, opening drive, trying to counterpunch. Harding marching it down the field. 7-0 Bisons out in front. Quick moving first quarter from the 43. They will hand the ball off, change of direction, but there is no hole to be found. Jordan Mays, the linebacker, had it closed up pretty early.
See full shift change right there for the defensive line. More of the pass rush group now checking into the game as it gets to a 2nd and long. Haven't seen Judd Novak in this first possession have to drop back in more of a 5-step and deliver the football downfield. A guy to keep an eye on, Trevor Amorum in the slot, number 10. He has a potential to be a deep ball threat.
They will use him in the running game as well on the jet sweep. Really a versatile weapon for this offense. 2nd down and 9. Novak looking right all the way, trying to hit the sideline pattern, and he overshot him. He was looking for Preston once again, working on Troy Wiseman.
And had Preston on that out route, ball just gets away from Judd Novak a little bit. Now this is an interesting spot. C45, Justin Sobczak checked back into the game. That's the guy that does such a good job getting after the quarterback. 8 sacks on the season. He's into the boundary, number 45, if they try to get him loose after the quarterback.
Harding was 6 guys up on the line of scrimmage. Let's see if they bring the blitz. Not a single one of them with a hand in the ground. 3rd down and 9. Novak will look against a 4-man rush. They keep a spy in as well. Novak spins his way out of trouble, gets to the outside, dives ahead, and did he get there? What an effort by Judd Novak. Very close to a 1st down, and they're going to say move the chains. That's why he's a Harlan Hill finalist.
Unbelievable job by Judd Novak. It's not there, breaking down around him. Does a good job avoiding the sack. Caden Spencer all over him. How about that stiff arm, stay in bounds, and then extend the football out? If he doesn't do that last piece, he's about a yard short. What a job there from Judd Novak to pick up that 1st down.
They talked about he is one of the nicest guys on the team, but this is the ultimate competitor. Not just on the gridiron, but anywhere he goes, outside the football field, outside the football facilities, in the classroom, he wants to win. Trouble this time, and he will not get away. Bryce rushing, knifed his way in. Tackle for loss back to midfield.
Well, this is all number 92, Bryce rushing. Watch him right in the middle, left unblocked. That's who they're reading on that play. He's able to take away the running back and then get after the quarterback for the tackle for loss.
Part of the depth up front that Harding will rotate. You mentioned they have some speed guys on the edge that they will bring in. Usually every 3 downs, they'll bring in a fresh set of bodies, whether it's 3 new defenders up front or 4. That's how deep they are. Working behind the sticks, play clock down to 3, and a flag is thrown as they run the jet sweep to Amorum, but like they had a couple of guys moving at the same time.
5-yard penalty. Still 2nd up.
Ryan Chernecki, one of the top offensive linemen in the country.
And that's a killer, because not only now is it backed up to 2nd and long, but that jet sweep to Trevor Amorum, he had gotten loose. And I think there was a minimum of picking up the 1st down, potential for a really big play that's now wiped away.
Kutztown moving the wrong way now. 2nd down and 18 after the penalty, back at the 45-yard line. 3 receivers near side. They will keep it on the ground, and not much for Burkhardt. Clark Griffin. You talk about a football player, the 5th-year senior, the Division II active leader in tackles, over 400 since he transferred in from Alabama.
Guy that this staff and head coach Paul Simmons said has a chip on his shoulder the size of Texas. You see him down on the field, he's not a big guy. They've got him listed at 5'9", $185. John, I promise you he's not 5'9", but he plays like he's 6'5". Gets after the quarterback, 142 tackles on the season coming into this game.
Paul Simmons told us barefoot he stands 5'7". 3rd down and a mile here for Judd Novak. They go 2-by-2 stack. Novak with a clean pocket will take a shot down the seam. He was looking for Crisilla, but really good coverage by Weissman. And Kutztown will be forced to punt.
And the worst case scenario, really for any offense, but especially against this front for Harding, you get it to 3rd and long and allow this pass rush. Caden Spencer, Justin Sobczak pin their ears back and come after you. It is not a down and distance you're going to have much success in. And credit, after a couple first downs given up, credit to Harding bowing up and getting the stop to force the punt.
Nate Millard on the punt. Zach Valcarcel awaiting this kick. It's a high one, angled toward the near side. Nicely done by Millard, one of the top punters in Division II, and he does the job. Harding will have it deep in their own end. Beautiful facility here in Kutztown. They trail by 7 early.
Timeout.
Nobody knows the Harding program better than Paul Simmons. He's been with the program as a coach since 2006. He was an All-American linebacker even before that in his playing days. Brought in to take over the coaching duties, replacing Ronnie Huckabee, who is so tight to Paul. And the wins getting here, a couple of really good teams, Northwest Missouri State, Pittsburgh State. They took them down. Then they had the battle hanging on late with UTPB.
Has developed a culture of winning, and I loved when he talked about, look, before 2023, if I called a recruit, it was 50-50 on whether or not, if they were outside of 100 miles of our campus, whether or not they knew who we were. He said now everybody knows who we are. Within the Division II community, you follow this sport, you know all about the success for Harding and what they've built in Searcy.
Talked about a 200-mile recruiting radius, but this is a program that traditionally has brought in players from Florida, just not relegated to the Arkansas area. And that national championship, as you mentioned, just brought so much notoriety to this program. And what he really appreciated about it, people even inside the state of Arkansas discovered the brotherhood that he has built with the Bisons.
And they've done a great job recruiting the offensive line as well. It's a specific type of player, right? This is an offense, tells these kids when he recruits them, if you don't want to pass set, you don't have to here, because you are only going to go forward as an offensive lineman in this offense.
And what offensive lineman would not want to hear those words? So the second time in this opening quarter that they're going to take a look at a spot to see if indeed it is a first down. These two teams did not meet. They both had really good seasons in 2023, but they came from opposite sides of the bracket. Kutztown had to go to the Rockies, and they had their championship dreams buried in the snow, losing to Mines. And we all know what Harding was able to do with Colorado School of Mines in the championship 2 years ago in McKinney, as we take multiple looks here to see where Andrew Miller goes down. And was it shy of the 25?
And I think it was,
yep,
yeah.
Looks like it was.
Good job by this crew. Good tackle there from Austin Lehman. I think you see the backside of Andrew Miller hit at about the 24-yard line, and that ball at about the 24.5-yard line. I think we'll get this at 3rd and about a half yard. It all started on that first down play. There was a missed tackle on Andrew Miller. What happens? Makes you pay for it. Picks up 7 yards on a spot where it could have been 2nd and 9, ends up 2nd and 3.
The ruling on the field, the first round, of zero return. The ball will be placed at 24.5-yard line. 3rd down.
So 3rd down and short. They will move the ball back just a bit. Big smile on the face of Paul Simmons, and he's been smiling a lot in recent years. Playoff run, taking care of UT Permian Basin. They led by quite a bit, only to see it get cut late, but then they went on a 90-plus yard drive to seal the game. This is a team that leads Division II and running the football, and that's what they have done in this first quarter. Not to be denied. Yards after contact. The 225-pounder Miller.
You go back to that win over UT Permian Basin, they had scored 31 points going into half. Only scored 3 in the second half. So UTPB, they found some answers. They really slowed down the dive. and force this offense to run sideline to sideline, which is something defensive coordinator Eric Fargo told us. If we can get them running lateral, not right at us, that's a key to success in trying to slow down this offense.
5 carries, 18 yards for Miller as they try to establish the inside. First down and 10 at the 32. Franklin goes in motion. They will hand it to Miller, and this time the Golden Bears pop him immediately. Jason Furmite was the first one to hit him, and then he had some help from his linebacker, Brandon Strausser.
Also see Freddie Redder in there as well, stonewalling this attack. See Big 94, he stands up his block. That allows Brandon Strausser to rally to the football. It starts with the defensive line, and then it's shedding blocks and making tackles at the linebacker and secondary level.
So last week, UT Permian Basin made a precise effort to take away Andrew Miller. He was held to 98 yards, if you call that being held. But he had 7 straight 100-yard efforts. They made other players beat them just like this. Franklin gets wide to the outside, a stiff arm, and he steps out of bounds at the 49. That's a gain of 15 and another Harding first down.
And it felt like this offense was relying heavily on that fullback dive. Majority of the carries in this first quarter going to Andrew Miller. Here, they get Miller on the edge as the lead blocker. Good recognition from Cole Keelan. We've got the edge with Christian Franklin. Kicks it to his captain for the first chunk play of the day for Franklin.
Another really devastating block thrown by Braden Jay. And you hit it earlier. If you come to play for Harding, you should take a look at Franklin's numbers last week. If you come play one of those slot backs, you better know how to block. Jay trying to get outside, stretching it effectively that time was Lee Coleman as he held his ground, but a late hit. And here comes a flag along the Harding sideline. Lack of discipline late there for the Golden Bears.
I was about to say credit to this defense and Lee Coleman. That play goes on for forever, but it's exactly what we talked about, trying to get this offense to run sideline to sideline. And instead of just giving up a short gain, looks like this will be tacked on with a free 15 yards.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughing, late hit out of bounds. Number 7, defense, 15-yard penalty, added to the end run, automatic, first down.
That's the 5th-year senior Mike Fahmy from Philadelphia.
And this one's clear. I mean, he's a step and a half, 2 steps out of bounds. This is one you've got to pull up. I know you want to try to get a hit on the ball carrier, but that is a senseless mistake that instead of a 2nd and 10 now, you're all the way knocking on the edge of the red zone here now.
Second offensive possession in the 2nd straight series where Harding having success moving the football. This drive started all the way back at their 15. Franklin in motion. They're going to throw for the first time. Wide open and making the one-handed catch is Brady Barnett. There was nobody within 10 yards of him when Keelan let it fly.
Secondary turning loose. Brady Barnett completely uncovered. And what a play. Guy that came into this game just 4 catches on the entire season, pulling down the one-handed snag. He did have a touchdown on that reverse a week ago and is a playmaker in this offense. Showing you why he's probably going back saying, hey, look, I know we run the flex bone here, but if I can make catches like that, maybe we can work in a few more passes.
Trying to get some more targets from his quarterback, Keelan. He'll get more with that type of catch. Inside the red zone, Keelan will hand the ball off. There goes Miller as he Heil drives his way close to another first down. He'll be about a yard shy. And boy, this is Harding football. You look up at the game clock if you're Kutztown, and where'd the time go? Your defense has been on the field nonstop in this opening quarter.
And one mistake by the freshman, L.J. Smith, gets just a little bit too wide, doesn't come down and crash on the dive back Andrew Miller. And a number of mistakes early, guys not fitting gaps well or making open field tackles, and Harding's going to take advantage every time.
Second to Miller, running behind Dylan Daring, the left guard. Jamie Rivera cuts him down. Should be first and goal. See where they spot it. Yep, they will give him the first down, and Harding knocking on the doorstep again.
Imagine you see Ball either stays in the hands of 15, Cole Keelan, or Andrew Miller on the dive. You see dominated here in the first quarter on really every facet, but that total yards graphic.
Jay in motion, they give it to Miller, and he won't get there. Good job by Kutztown. Popping that play, blowing it up underneath. Like it was Strausser who knifed his way in, and I don't envision Harding taking another snap. In fact, they'll start to make the journey to the other end where this drive started. Cole Keelan and the Bisons a long way from home, having no trouble adjusting. Some fires needed to keep everybody warm today, except for the Bisons.
College football's most prestigious fraternity welcomes a new member. The Heisman Trophy ceremony presented by Nissan, tonight at 7 on ABC.
Well, we have a couple of Heisman equivalent finalists at the Division II ranks going at it here this afternoon in Pennsylvania. Andrew Miller, the fullback, one of the 3 Harlan Hill finalists. He has scored a touchdown already today. He will look for number 2, lowers the pads, lumbers ahead, and he is in. Touchdown, Harding.
Dominating so far on offense for Harding. Doing everything right in the interior. Offensive line is getting a surge. Right now, we're seeing Cole Keelan operate this offense like he has all season. Diagnosing, recognizing whether to hand off or pull and get on the edge, and then capped off again by a guy that you just touched on, Harlan Hill finalist Andrew Miller. It's in the end zone again for Harding.
11 plays, 85 yards, little more than 6 minutes off the game clock, and the Bisons have struck on both of their drives today. They don't throw the football a lot, but when they do, they are sneaky. The one-handed grab by Barnett sets up Miller in his second rushing touchdown of the day. Harding celebrates. They go up 14. Andrew Miller had choices coming out of Harding Academy, but when it was offered the opportunity to play for Harding, he jumped at the chance, and what a job he has done. And Paul Simmons talked about it. They've never had a fullback like him as far as the physical aspects that he brings to the position.
Not only is he dynamic as a runner, now tied for the single season record with 25 touchdowns this season, but how about that mustache as well? Got some of that product in there as well, getting the curl going. And he's been unbelievable so far.
And he told local media he only grooms it for the playoffs.
I still couldn't do that. I'm 35 years old. I can't grow a mustache like that.
The Bears are in some trouble. Let's see if Preston can change that. He has one kick return for a touchdown this year. Makes a couple of moves, still on his feet. Finally chased down at the 40. And that's the lightning bolt that this program needed in what's been a rough first half.
You nailed it, Sean. This is the kind of play. And when you're down 2 scores, you're playing here at home, you need something to go right. Great job, blocked up well on that right side. And Preston, good speed, working back towards the middle. Now gets it on the other side of midfield. You talk about swinging momentum. This is not a team in Harding that you can afford to get down by multiple scores because of how well they run the football and play keep away. But a great return right out of the gate from Preston. Now setting up good field position in this offense. Kutztown needs to take advantage.
He had a 100-yard touchdown earlier this year on the kick return against Gannon. Nearly had number 2. Great starting position. They swing it out. First touch of the day for Priscilla, working off the screen. And a good job fighting through the blockers and making the tackle from Clark Griffin.
You know, we've seen Judd Novak all season throw the football really well downfield, getting it out of his hands quickly. Right now, it's kind of fluttering out of his hand a little bit. I wonder if, and he's used to playing in the cold here, just wonder if there's anything going on with the football. I don't think there's any sort of injury, but right now, the ball just not coming out with much snap, not really a spiral right now.
Yeah, wind not a factor. It's a fairly calm day considering the month of December. Jaden Stewart gets his first touch. Stewart running behind the left side of this offensive line, setting up a manageable third down, really, in this playbook. 2 calls here to get 4 yards.
And a guy that's in the game right now, Luke Maxwell, that's had a big season for them. 11 touchdowns on the season, 13 total, but 11 on the ground. I'd be surprised if they mix him in with some sort of jet sweep or design touch for number 46.
It's not too often you see a tight end utilized in the running game as much, but that has been the case this year for the redshirt sophomore. Novak looks like he's changing the play. Play clock down to 2. It's a design keeper, and Novak will run for the first down. Thrown ahead to the 25-yard line by Spencer. Novak trying to fire up this home crowd, and Kutztown knocking on the red zone doorstep.
That's huge for your confidence as a quarterback as well. Trying to pick up that first down, create some momentum. That's an element that as the season's gone along, Novak has done a great job. He came into this game with 410 yards on the ground and another 6 scores rushing. So it's not like this is a new element. He's got plenty of experience toting the rock in that design +1 quarterback run game.
Stewart flanks Novak to the right. On first down, he will run to the boundary side. Has a little bit of a crevice as he goes up and over the defender. And a good push by Adam Conklin and Billy Everett. Troy Wiseman finally able to bring him down.
Great job by C.J. Conti at center. Billy Everett as well, pulling those guys around, getting on the edge. C.J. Conti, younger guy, redshirt junior, but his first time as a starter. I think that's one of the things he does so well. Really athletic at the center spot, get out on the edge, good first down carry.
Conti, the least experience of the front 5. Redshirt junior out of Sea Isle City, New Jersey. Second down and a yard, right back, same play. And Stewart up into the air where he got hammered. Big hit put on once again by Wiseman, but a first down for Jaden Stewart.
And an important drive for Kutztown that they're able to do all this on the ground right now. And you're seeing them lean on this front. You've got a couple guys on this offensive line, specifically Ryan Chernecki, who you mentioned. This is a guy, he's up for the Gene Upshaw Award as the top lineman in the country, somebody that they feel like is going to be in an NFL camp next year.
Big number 75, Chernecki. Priscilla in motion. First trip to the red zone today. Novak is going to continue to run behind the Upshaw finalists. And this time, stretching the play out effectively was Hardy. Not much for Judd Novak.
Now, as this into the tight red zone, the field condenses. Take a look at Ryan Chernecki. When we asked Jim Clements and Marcel Quarterman, offensive coordinator, what do you think about his future beyond playing college football? And they both said, look, he deserves a shot at the next level. He's somebody that could have left this program, gone. He had opportunities to leave and go play at the Division I level, but he stayed here. I think he'll be rewarded. He's been fantastic in his career for Kutztown.
First finalist for the award for Kutztown since Jordan Morgan won the honor back in 2016. And we all know what happened to Morgan. He was a draft pick for the Bears, taking a shot toward the end zone. Too tall as he was looking for a Morin. Good coverage on the back end. That was the defender and the safety, Zach O'Day, in the vicinity.
And good pass rush up front, again, from Justin Sobczak. It was not a blitz from Harding. They just rushed forward and able to get home. Wasn't a sack, but clear pressure on Judd Novak and had to get rid of the football.
What do you like here, Taylor? 3rd and 8.
And I still would like to see Luke Maxwell. He's in the slot to the top into the boundary. Get him involved in this offense.
3rd down, Novak on a design run will try to follow the lead blocker, which was Stewart that time, and a good open field tackle made by Caden Spencer. And this sets up an early decision for Marcel Quarterman, the offensive coordinator, and Jim Clements.
And I think we'll see this offense stay on the field. You're already down 2 touchdowns against an offense. You cannot trade field goals for touchdowns and have a chance to get out of here with a win if you're Kutztown. So I like this decision from Jim Clements to go for it here and try to, at a minimum, pick up the first down or potentially score.
Yeah, they can still pick up the first down at the 1. 4th down and 4. Big play early in this game. Novak with time, flings it back in the end zone, out of bounds, incomplete. Knocked away by Curtis Jackson. Got the hand in there in the nick of time.
Preston has
Ruling on
this
the
in
field,
his hands, but
pass.
credit on
First
the
down.
back end,
Hardy.
punching this ball out. This is a great job. What should have been a touchdown for Lanique Preston. Even better coverage, striking that out from Curtis Jackson.
Lanique Preston unable to reel in the fourth down throw from Novak as Jackson got his hand in there in the nick of time. Textbook defensive play.
Textbook is right. This is a touchdown. He's got control of it, 1 foot down. But you see Curtis Jackson wrap both hands around exactly like you're taught as a DB. Don't quit on the play. Strike through the hands of the receiver. That was a massive play by that defense for Harding.
Let's not forget Preston set up the field position with his long kick return, but touchdown comes up empty. And for Harding, it's the familiar recipe. Let's play the power football with the fullback. And Andrew Miller, not one but 2 touchdown runs today.
And the fullback dive has been there, and it's been a combination of defensive linemen not getting that penetration and linebackers not able to collapse down and create that push and tackles either in the backfield or for just a gain of 1 or 2. I think right now, if I'm Kutztown, I'm trying to condense the box down, take away the dive of Andrew Miller and force this to get on the edge, try to get this offense running sideline to sideline.
Second down, they will pitch it, trying to go sideline with the home run hitter. This is Jay. Braden Jay, the senior, 3 consecutive 1,000-yard seasons, becoming the second player in Harding history to accomplish that. And he was a key cog in the national title run a couple of years ago.
And despite Andrew Miller being the Heartland Hill finalist, over 1,800 yards on the ground, Braden Jay is who's the Great American Conference Player of the Year. So talk about that speed. When he gets the ball on the perimeter, there are very few people in all of college football that are going to catch him if he gets loose.
He's rushed for over 3,000 yards in his remarkable career. Carrying the football with both hands, Andrew Miller. Lasso down, Jamie Rivera, second time that we've called the young linebacker's name, the redshirt sophomore who has seen his playing time increase in recent weeks.
And that play, if you're Kutztown, is exactly what you want it to look like. You give up a yard, but good tackling, everybody where they're supposed to be, gap integrity, and then Jamie Rivera makes the tackle just for 1 yard. That's exactly what it's supposed to look like to slow down this flexbone offense.
Elon looking down at his wrist. He will pitch it. This is Jay, and Braden Jay up to the 23. Another tackle by Rivera, and this sets up a third down. I know it's very early in this game, Taylor, but this is a big third down for the Golden Bear defense.
It is, because this offense for Harding, they've got the capability with 7 and change in the second quarter. They could drive the length of the field and take every bit of this clock off. Trying to get a stop, get the ball back, it's going to be huge here. This is a big third down.
Third and a long 5. Elon and Harding, I think, want time to think about it. They are going to utilize their first timeout. Timeout for the Bisons. 3rd and 5 when we come back
Timeout
from Eastern Pennsylvania.
Harding.
This is what makes this sport so amazing.
The rush of the college football playoff opening round matchups coming up. Speaking of playoffs, deep into the Division II playoffs as we welcome you back to Kutztown, Pennsylvania. First time that they have ever hosted a national semifinal game, but they are on the ropes early. Harding has had time to talk about what they want to go with here. 3rd down and 5. They have been perfect on 3rd down today. Keelan with the quick pitch. Franklin with some work to do. Look at the patience by Franklin. And a first down as he surges past the 30 to the 31.
And a really nice job on the edge from Bodie Neal and Braden Jay. Blocks on the perimeter. You talk about the patience there by Christian Franklin. But that only works if you've got good blocking on the perimeter. And that speaks to, again, when we talked with head coach Paul Simmons, he said this offense is who we want to be. It's built on two things, unselfishness and violence. And I think it perfectly describes this offense. Everybody gets an opportunity, whether that's blocking or rushing the football out of your ball carriers. And it's been on display early in this game for Harding.
Fresh set of downs. Now they carry out the option, and big hole opens up, and somersaulting ahead goes Jay. He was a step away from taking that to the house, and they are opening up holes like they have been really since the opening whistle.
Eaton Johnson comes down, number 3, gets just enough to trip up Braden Jay. Otherwise, that's probably a touchdown for Harding.
16 yards for Jay. One thing to keep an eye on, Cole Keelan limping noticeably after that last pitch. He has his leg wrapped up, so we'll keep an eye on that. First down give is to Miller as he gets close to midfield. We were talking about the flex bone, and this is an offense that travels well, and that's what Coach Simmons talked about. You can pack it up in the suitcase and play in any type of weather.
That's exactly right, and it also is immune to environment. It really doesn't matter where you're going or what sort of crowd, and Kutztown's got a fantastic home crowd here today. Looks like a sellout. I think the other thing right now, you just hit on it, Cole Keelan clearly limping right now, even after that handoff, just gingerly after the fake. Something we'll have to keep an eye on.
Second down, and he will make his way into the second wave. Bad leg and all for Keelan. All the way to the 24. Gets up limping once again back to the huddle. This guy is a warrior.
And you see him after he gets up. He's clearly got a limp, but it's not slowing him down here. Good recognition. Gets vertical, takes a shot there at the end, and gutting it out. Remember, this is his 55th straight start. And that's not just 55 starts and you're running a spread offense. No, you're running the flex bone. You're taking shots every game. That toughness on display for Cole Keelan.
Had to leave the game in the regular season finale against Arkansas Tech. And they were worried that he was going to be able to go in the postseason, but there was no way he was going to miss it. As Miller picks up 5 more yards, and they are just carving away at the Golden Bear defense.
And just no negative plays. Forget negative plays. Even a yard or 2 gain, I think, would look like a win right now for Kutztown. You see the rushing already today. Keelan closing in almost to 100 yards. Andrew Miller just the 50 yards. Remember, he's got 2 scores as well. These are your first half stats. I think Harding, they're getting everything they want right now, running between the tackles.
Keelan is going to have to hustle it up. Play clock to 2 to 1. Gets the snap off. It's a quick pitch to Franklin. And Franklin struggling his way to the 20. Brought down by Brandon Strausser.
Well within range of Magnus Lepak, their kicker. I think absolutely if they don't pick up anything here, I think you'd see this offense off the field and settle for the field goal. But if this gets down to that 4th and 1, 2, even 3, I'll be surprised if Harding stays on the field on offense.
Inside 3 minutes. Harding has ripped off an 85-yard drive in this first half, and now on a drive that started all the way back at their own 5, they have taken it to the Kutztown 19. Pitch outside. Jay with a couple of blockers spins his way to another first down. Tripped up at the 12-yard line by Kephart.
And said it at that 3rd down when they were all the way back on the other side of the field, how important field position was going to be. In that 3rd down, could they get off the field? There was 7 minutes and change. He said this offense has the capability to bleed out the remainder of this quarter, and that's exactly what's happening right here. They're going to take this to the 2-minute timeout. Time of possession being dominated right now by Harding.
The D2 playoffs continue with the championship game next Saturday on ESPN2. For more information, visit NCAA.com, the home for all NCAA championships. Miller with his 15th carry in this first half, and that takes us
This
to
is
the
a 2-minute
timeout.
This will also be a media timeout.
Boy, this looks like the Harding team from a couple of years ago. No one could stop the Bisons. All Harding here in Pennsylvania. Oh, the tailgating started in the wee hours today. Yeah, they were smoking up everything on the grill. Some hamburgers, look at that salsa. Yeah, a little cheese. Wouldn't it be Philadelphia without a little Philly cheesesteak action?
Pop downstairs, see if they got any of that left outside.
They better have some post game. Ferris State won earlier this afternoon. The defending champs have secured their spot in the finals next week. Who will it be? Harding or Kutztown? Keelan keeps it. Keelan dancing. Keelan into the end zone. Limping his way to the sideline. Touchdown, Harding.
Talked about, if you take one away, there are so many other weapons on this offense. Great recognition. You see the defensive tackle squeeze down on the dive back, Andrew Miller. Recognition from Cole Keelan. Pull the ball, get to the outside, and then vertical into the end zone for his first score of the day.
Talked about how tough he is. Third quarter in the regular season finale against Arkansas Tech, he got injured. The team thought he broke his collarbone. The trainer called the coach, said, hey, we got a problem. Cole won't let us x-ray it. He wants to play. Well, they're happy to have him. Another big rushing day for Keelan. He finds the end zone from 10 yards out. Harding extends the lead. An NCAA record for rushing yards in a season, and they have it on full display with the spotlight the brightest in the national semifinals. 260 yards of offense for Harding in this first half. 240 of those yards coming on the ground against a defense coming in that kept opponents under 100 yards total in 11 of 14 games this year.
And now for Kutztown, have to have a touchdown on this drive. Remember, they get the ball coming out of half. So if they can come down, they had the last possession where the touchdown looked like from Lanique Preston gets struck out by Curtis Jackson. That great coverage on the back end.
1 minute, 54 seconds. 1:55.
That added second back on. But for Harding, this is the top scoring defense in all of Division II this season. Under 10 points a game given up. For Kutztown, they have got to figure out a way, get back into the red zone, come away with a touchdown here before half, try to create a little bit of momentum going into the locker room.
Yeah, these two defenses 1-2 in the national rankings, scoring and points allowed, and now movement up front. Goes from bad to worse for the Golden Bears. Or did Addy cross into the neutral zone? Was he enticed?
Yeah, I think he was. It looked like Addy went across the line. I think this will be a free 5 yards for Kutztown.
Offside. Defense. Number 95. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
The Addy first-year starter, second year on campus. Head off to the sideline. Second penalty today on Harding. Novak throwing the football fairly quiet. That is going to have to change, though. Down 3 touchdowns. Novak just 2 of 6. Swings it out. A rare drop. This one close to being a lateral pass. Harding scooped it up, but they're going to rule it incomplete.
And even if that had been caught, Deion Campbell had shed his block. Rich Pacheski on the outside is 4 versus 4. Pacheski just whiffs on Deion Campbell. I think they're very fortunate that this was an incompletion. Otherwise, that was a major tackle for loss waiting to happen.
Second down and 5. The ball at the 30-yard line. Kutztown with all 3 timeouts remaining, so plenty of time for Novak in this offense. Somebody has to step up. Novak pressure up the middle. He'll take a shot. 50-50 ball. Preston tried to come back to it, but Jackson has had his number. And Lanique Preston down on the turf, still feeling the effects.
That was a shot that Lanique Preston took when he hit the ground. We'll take another look at it. He's going back up. The ball's a little bit underthrown, and as he gets his legs taken out from under him, straight down on the ground on his head. We'll take another look at it. Again, this ball a little bit underthrown, and Preston having to come back to it. That is
Officials timeout. Injury.
cold turf. We're now below freezing as the sun's going down here in Kutztown, and that does not feel good hitting the turf like that.
It's going to be a big blow offensively when you look at the receiving core, and both Preston and Chrysilla coming out of the state of Delaware. Chrysilla played for a powerhouse program, Middletown, while Preston more of a small school route. Those two played on the same team in the All-Star game in Delaware, and they are very vocal, very proud of their history and the high school talent that Delaware pops out each and every year to the college level. Preston's had a good season, 25 receptions. That's second highest on the team behind Chrysilla. Good to see him up on his feet. Hopefully a situation where he just knocked the wind out. Ferris State, no trouble earlier today. They are back into the finals, ready to defend their title from a year ago. It's interesting, you look at Ferris State, they lost a few players to the transfer portal after they won the championship. One of those players, their quarterback, Trinidad Chambliss, who has found his niche in the SEC this year.
Has he? Man, we had that game last year. I remember thinking, boy, this guy's pretty special. Ends up being one of the top quarterbacks in the SEC and playing in the college football playoff this season.
3rd down and 5. Novak on a design draw. He will pick up the first down and go into a protective slide. So all 3 first downs have come via the legs of Judd Novak in this first half.
And we got a defender down behind the play. Looks like Curtis Jackson on the turf.
This is way downfield at
Officials timeout. Injury. Defense.
40-yard line as they look on his leg, going back to Novak and what he can do with his feet.
And good vision, setting up his own blocks. You see him work to the right, move those linebackers off their spot, and then cut back. And you nailed it, Sean. The production right now has all been on the ground for Judd Novak. I think this passing offense, what can they do to try to create a spark throwing the football? I'm going to go back to Luke Maxwell, a guy that has not had any touches so far today. He had over 75 yards of total offense and 3 touchdowns a week ago. Just has not really been a factor so far on offense for Kutztown. You see Curtis Jackson able to sit up.
The Harlan Hill Award is the Division II equivalent of the Heisman. It is the Player of the Year, and each of these teams with a Harlan Hill finalist, Andrew Miller, over 1,800 rushing yards this year. He has added 2 more to his season total, now up to 25 rushing touchdowns for the fullback. While for Novak, he has put up career-high numbers virtually in every category this year, entering today 2nd in the NCAA in passing efficiency, and this is a bad sign for Harding as Curtis Jackson goes into the medical tent.
And remember, 0 interceptions on the season for Judd Novak. All the wonderful things he's done this season. He's done a great job taking care of the football.
Clock starts up again on first down. He gets rid of it quickly, near side. Chrysilla with the catch. It's a short gain as he is escorted out of bounds at the 42.
Nice, easy completion to the outside. Plenty of time. You got all 3 timeouts. Talked about how critical this drive is for Kutztown to get down the field, come away with a score, need a touchdown. Right, already down 21-0. They get the ball coming out of half. This is a huge possession for the Golden Bears.
2nd down, they run a stunt over the middle. Pass is caught. This is Pacheski with the first down catch. Let's see if the Bears are going to use one of their 3 timeouts. Clock will stop to move the sticks.
Good recognition throwing that curl route. I thought that play got blown dead just a hair early. Fell forward for another 3 or 4 yards. It was wiped away.
From the 47, they will hand the ball off. Nice move by Burkhardt, spinning his way. Could not spin away from Caden Spencer, and now the Golden Bears will use the first of 3 timeouts.
Timeout. Kutztown. This is their first
Earlier today in the
30-second
other
timeout.
semifinal, boy, it was 8 degrees above zero in Big Rapids. Ferris State nearly unbeatable at home, and this defense showed up. First of 5 interceptions by the secondary. Justin Payout with the pick. And Jake Price, he had 3 total touchdowns on the day, and the defense kept getting the job done. Another touchdown run after the turnover, and Ferris State advances 49-17. They stayed perfect on the season, 4th straight game in which they have scored 49 points or more. Jake Price has been their offensive weapon this year, 3 touchdowns. They look primed to defend their title from a year ago.
They absolutely do, and so far Harding, again, they were not real thrilled that they had to get on the road and travel up here. They felt like how they played this season deserved to be hosting that semifinal, playing so far today like they are one of the top 2 teams in Division II football.
Kutztown using their first timeout. They have it 2nd down and 10, plus territory for Novak. Got Novak, deep drop, wants to go down the near side, and good coverage, incomplete. He was looking for Hayden, but there was no separation. Excellent job by Wiseman, who's been pretty active. These 2 corners with Jackson and Wiseman have really played well.
And you can hear the crowd asking for a call there. I thought that was great coverage from Troy Wiseman. A little bit of hand fighting, but that's just sticky coverage on the back end. Senior from Conway, Arkansas, and Wiseman. You're seeing the downfield plays, nowhere to go with the football. Pressure look here from Harding. We'll see if they bring this blitz or back out of it.
Wiseman, a 2nd-team All-Super Region selection. 3rd down and 10. Here they come. Novak on a timing pattern has his man. Priscilla with the catch, but then he lost the football. Harding pleading the case, saying it's an incompletion. But side judge says, let's move the chains and a 1st down.
Great job by Judd Novak getting rid of that football. I think it's clear that that's a catch and turning upfield. Then the ball comes out, fumble out of bounds. The sideline there trying to say that was juggled as an incompletion, but I thought that was a clean catch. Now they are going to take a look at it.
Yeah, Simmons and Harding wanting the replay official upstairs to take another look.
Go back to, again, Judd Novak getting this ball out, knows he's going to get hit. I think right there, secured the catch. You see it start to move after contact's been made, but to me, that's a fumble. Talk about a football move.
Exactly.
Turning upfield qualifies as the football move. Another look at it. I think there's 2 steps there where he has possession, and then there's the strike from Wiseman. And I've got that as a completion and then a fumble. This will be a great look at it. Bang, bang, and again, Sean called a catch on the field. So is there enough there to overturn it?
Yeah, from those angles, as we look down on it, you don't see any type of juggling. The transition from catch into the running mode, at least 2 steps established, which you would feel would qualify for a football move. So we will see which route they go upstairs. Again, it's a Great Lakes Valley Conference crew here. Ryan McCleary, the replay official, and a tough first half for Jim Clements on his home turf.
Credit also to these defensive backs fighting through the receiver's hands. Go back a possession. Curtis Jackson was the one that punched out what would have been a touchdown to Lanique Preston. And then same thing on that play. Looks like a 1st down, and Troy Wiseman now working through, fighting through the hands of the receiver. That is textbook defense. Even if this stands as a reception, they're doing a great job on the back end for Harding.
After review, held, 1st down, touchdown. Harding will not lose their time, nor their timeout.
Well, they should lose the timeout if it was a failed challenge.
Correct.
We'll need to see if they clarify that, because that should be the 2nd timeout off the board for Harding for that challenge not going their way.
12 yards on the throw and catch. Priscilla Kutztown right back on it, foot on the gas with 51 seconds to go. Down by 21. This is a must get. On the inside slant, making the catch. Amorin falling ahead to the 25. Close to a first down. They haven't marked it yet. In fact, they're going to say just short. So the clock continues to move. Again, the Bears have a couple of timeouts, but precious time winning off this clock. Second down and 1. Novak with time. Corner route, back of the end zone. Caught! Touchdown, Kutztown. Rich Pacheski.
Perfect throw over that outside shoulder on the corner route, and a great catch from Rich Pacheski. Corner route to that back pylon, drops it in the bucket. And credit to Pacheski, knows he's going to the ground, there's going to be contact, survives the ground, and that is a huge play for Kutztown to try and take this into half with a little bit of momentum.
75 yards on the drive. The Harlan Hill finalist needed to step up for his offense, and he did just that. A third down conversion using his legs, and for the first time, a soft touch with his arm.
Perfect throw. Receiver's done the hard part. Already created some separation. Dropping this in the bucket. Great job by that offensive line as well. Pacheski surviving the ground. Massive momentum play for the Golden Bears.
For Pacheski, that is his second touchdown catch this year. They have utilized him as a fourth wide receiver, somebody that they bring in off the bench. He's had his moments this year at a 100-yard game against Millersville. Had not caught a pass in the past couple of weeks. But he hauls this one in, and Pacheski and Kutztown on the board for the first time.
And to be clear, going back to that challenge, even though the challenge flag was thrown by Paul Simmons from Harding, booth review is what initiated that. So that's why, despite Harding losing their challenge, that's why they retained the timeout. So they do still have 2 timeouts here with 22 seconds. Now, this is not an offense that's known for up-tempo. We'll see if they try to get into gear to try and get a quick 3 score before half.
Keep in mind, the Golden Bears will get the football to start the second half after deferring. On the return out to the 32-yard line goes Hines. Little pushing and shoving after the play. Hey, you go back to this first half. Key moments of this game. Obviously, the ground assault that Harding unleashes each and every week, and Simmons has watched his Bisons do that, but you have the pass breakup on 4th down by Jackson, the play where it looked like Preston was going to get the touchdown. And then Novak operating the 2-minute offense perfectly, able to get points right before halftime with the notion of this offense getting the football first to start the second half.
And for Harding on offense, 3 drives and 3 scores. They've done everything that they wanted to in terms of creating some separation, getting some push up front, and it's the guys that we expected, Andrew Miller and Cole Keeline, that have done a great job running the football. But that was a huge last possession for Kutztown, coming away with a touchdown there to Rich Pacheski. Again, like you mentioned, Sean, they get the ball coming out of half.
That is the end of the first half.
What can they do in the third quarter to try to get some stops on defense?
First ever meeting between these two programs. Harding all the way from the state of Arkansas. They head to the locker room on top, 21-7. Chilly night here in the state of Pennsylvania, but Harding has been cooking it up on the ground like they have all season long. They lead 21-7 here at the intermission. Sean Kenny alongside Taylor McHarg. And Taylor, you look back at this first half. We knew that possessions were going to be precious. Anytime you play Harding, they are, and that just puts so much pressure on the opponent. And the Bison's unstoppable, 3 for 3 in the first half.
Unstoppable is exactly right. All 3 of those drives, it's not like they capitalize on short field. They all went virtually the length of the field. And right now, you're just not seeing Kutztown with much of an answer stopping this flex bone attack. And it's come just like I think we talked about and expected. You take away one piece of this, and there are multiple weapons that can hurt you. And I think you've seen a number of guys step up in this offense, carrying the load and rushing, again, for over 200 yards in that first half. And they've only had the ball 3 times.
Andrew Miller certainly does the job softening up the middle, and then it was Cole Keelan in the first half for the second straight week, the most effective runner.
And is banged up right now. We talked about after a couple plays, he's hobbling around, but had the long, what was thought was a 43-yard touchdown run, ends up down at about the half-yard line. This was the 3rd score of that first half for Harding. He's done a fantastic job and is gutting it out despite being banged up. And you see here, again, Andrew Miller and Braden Jay coming into the game, their top rushers. They're below, halfway to their season average. But Cole Keelan, he's been the biggest weapon, 92 yards, closing in on 100 in that first half.
For the Golden Bears, we saw Judd Novak find a little bit of rhythm on the final drive. The touchdown pass, he will get the football first. Second half action comes your way next. The race for McKinney, Texas. The final piece of the puzzle. Who will take on the defending champs, Ferris State, next weekend in the Lone Star State? You're watching the NCAA Division II semifinal, the road to McKinney, Texas from Kutztown, Pennsylvania. Beautiful facility, Andre Reed Stadium. Earlier today, the defending champs from Ferris State in a frigid Big Rapids, 49-17. They knock out Newberry, so Ferris State back in the finals. Will it be the Golden Bears or the Bisons joining them next Saturday? 4 o'clock Eastern on ESPN2. Maybe the hottest offense in the country coming in was Jim Clements in Kutztown. They had scored 50 or more points in each of their 3 playoff games. That had never been done in the 109-year history of this program, but today just 7 points. And again, it goes back to number of possessions. They only had 3 possessions in the first half.
And had that 4th down stop in the red zone where it looked like a touchdown to Preston and was punched out by Curtis Jackson. What a big play that ended up being. This would have been a 21-14 game. I think we would have all talk about it differently going into half and coming out of half. That was a massive play from Curtis Jackson. And you're exactly right, Sean. Coming out of half now, you've seen on the other side, your defense struggling to get stops. Every possession now for Kutztown. Have to maximize these opportunities, try to stay on the field.
Zach Perda along with Rich Pacheski, the 2 return men for the Golden Bears. Keep in mind, Lanique Preston injured earlier in the first half, and now the kick is dropped. Kutztown is able to get back on top of it. Luke Maxwell, Johnny on the spot, able to get back on the football.
It was Luke that...
Or was it Maxwell that dropped it? Yeah, it was.
Yeah, I thought the same thing. It was 48 that comes in to jump on the ball, 46 that puts it on the ground.
Jay Smith, the backup linebacker. Boy, that could have been disaster for the Golden Bears. Smith able to get it back, so Kutztown from their own 34-yard line. Novak goes to work on first down. They will hand it off, and there has been nothing for the duo in the backfield of Stewart and Burkhart.
That linebacking core flashing again. Clark Griffin and Jordan Mays. We talked about Clark Griffin, one of the top linebackers, maybe the top linebacker in Division II football. But Jordan Mays, sophomore from Fort Worth. They talked about this staff. He's played into a role, one of the vocal leaders of this defense. Stop there. As you see the drive chart, just 3 possessions on both sides. And that 4th down in the red zone drop, how important did that play end up being in this game?
2nd down and 10. Opening possession of this 3rd quarter. They will hand the ball off on the jet sweep to Crisilla. Crisilla takes it out past the 40 up to the 41, a gain of 7, bringing up a manageable 3rd down.
And for Marcel Quarterman, your offensive coordinator, you're calling this like it's 4-down territory already. In my mind, with where you're at in this game and knowing how difficult it's been to get stops on the other side, you've got 2 plays here to pick this up. Get any sort of forward momentum, and you go for it on 4th down.
One area that Novak has been able to hit has been that quick hitch. We'll see if they look for that on 3rd down and 4, although the corners come up on press. Shifting up front on the defensive line as well. 3rd down and 4 for Novak. They go empty as he puts Stewart in motion. Over the middle they go, and what a catch by Pacheski. Snatching that from midair, one-handed, and a 1st down.
Second time we've seen a great catch from Pacheski. He had the touchdown on the corner route in the 2nd quarter. Look at that. Sticks that hand up on the slant over the middle, able to come down. That is a massive play to keep this offense on the field for the Golden Bears.
They go tempo for the first time. Now on the throw to the far side. It is caught, staying on his feet. Jamin Bryant with the catch, and a little bit of flow and rhythm by Novak in this receiving corps.
And that ball snapping out of Novak's hands is more like what we've seen throughout the season from him. We talked about early in the game in the 1st quarter, looked like it was fluttering a little bit, maybe not as confident. Those last 2 throws, especially to the outside there, that looks like the Judd Novak that we've seen all season for the Golden Bears.
He's hit 5 of his last 6 passes after a slow start today. 74 yards for Novak. 2nd down and 3. They bunch up the formation. Right up the middle they go with Stewart, and a 1st down run to the 36 for the redshirt junior from Newfield, New Jersey, coming off a season-high 16 carries last week.
And it feels like this entire team and this offense, whatever the message was at halftime from Jim Clements, they have responded. Good job by the offensive line getting push, and another 1st down for Kutztown.
It's been a frustrating year for Stewart. He was injured earlier this season after a strong start to the year, and he kept pressing the coaches, saying, let me come back, let me come back. And the coaches really had to pump the brakes on him to make sure he was fully healed. Came back after missing a month, rolled his ankle a 2nd time, cost him 2 more games, but fully healthy for this championship run in the playoffs.
46, we've talked about Luke Maxwell. And in this game, that's still a guy that if I'm Kutztown, I'm trying to figure out a way to get a touch in his hands. And even as a tight end, a week ago, they were working him in on a jet sweep in the screen game. I think that's somebody that so far today has had a quiet 1st half and first part of this 3rd quarter. See if they try to work him in and get some touches in this 2nd half.
Yeah, he had 3 touchdowns last week in the quarterfinal win. Yet to get a touch today. 2nd down, low snap, dug out. There they were looking for him, but it's off his fingertips, incomplete. Good coverage on the play by O'Day.
Ball just a little bit high. Looks like Duggar, number 20 in the game.
Which would be news because they thought he was going to be out with a knee injury. A very significant knee injury is what we were told throughout the course of the week. But you see number 20 on the far side. Duggar is out there. The Campbell Award winner. How about this move? 3rd down and 8. 5-step drop. Novak through his progressions, and it's intercepted. Picked off and on the return. Josh Gatlin, they're not going to catch him. Gatlin to the 10, now slows up. Finally corralled at the 8. Run down by Stewart. For the 2nd straight week, Gatlin with a huge play defensively.
Really on the field.
Well, Gatlin, like you said, had an interception a week ago. One of their best cover corners. And this play just takes too long to develop. Novak working left to right, comes back to the field, and it's too late. Gatlin, that's plenty of time for a corner of his skill set to rally to the football, has eyes on the quarterback the entire time. This is textbook. Driving back, working backwards, but eyes on the quarterback. Read and react, makes a huge play, and I was right there with you, Sean. I thought he was taking this to the house. Credit to Kutztown for staying with it, getting him down on the ground, but another huge play for Harding.
Yeah, he slowed down, and then he cut right back to where the defender was headed. Regardless, they have it in great shape. Miller on first down. Stood up at the line of scrimmage. Real quickly, you go back to Josh Gatlin and really the entire cornerback room for Harding. They all had to step up. They lost both of their starters last year to graduation, and for Gatlin, peaking at the right time.
Second week in a row that he's had an interception, and how big was that play? It looked like momentum starting to be created by Kutztown. They're driving coming out of half, and now create the takeaway. And not only that, you get it all the way down into the tight red zone to create a short field for an offense that hasn't been stopped yet tonight.
Second down, this is Keelan on the option. First contact not bringing him down. Keelan diving ahead. And let's not forget, that is the first interception thrown all season for Novak.
All year for a guy that in 19 games, and since he's had an interception, Harlan Hill finalist. Part of what's made him so dynamic this season has been exactly that, taking good care of the football. But this is a defense on the other side in Harding. They're plus 13 in the turnover margin so far this season, and showing you a great example of it as to why.
Third down and goal. Harding has been perfect inside the red zone tonight. Franklin in motion. It is Miller running behind his right guard, keeping those legs churning, and he will be brought down at the 2. 3 hard-fought yards for Andrew Miller, and a fourth down decision for Paul Simmons and the Bisons.
And I don't think this will be a shock to anybody if you have watched Harding. They're going to keep the offense on the field and try to punch this in for their fourth score of the day.
Play of the game right now. Fourth and goal, and this capacity crowd making some noise. Fourth down, Keelan over the right side. He's in. Touchdown, Harding. You know it's coming, and you just can't stop it.
First, second, and third down is a great effort by Kutztown, but just not enough. It's blocked up extremely well on the right side. This is staying in Cole Keelan's hands the entire way. Great job reacting, fighting for a guy that's banged up. You wouldn't know it. Second touchdown of the night for Keelan.
The son of a football coach, his dad Christian, the Harrison High School defensive coordinator. Cole Keelan has found the end zone, all thanks to his buddy on the defensive side.
This is immediate timeout.
Josh Gatlin, the interception, setting up the Bisons on the doorstep. Keelan finds the end zone. Harding extends the lead.
This is what makes this sport so amazing.
College football first round action coming up next weekend. Cole Keelan, the playoffs get going. This guy ups his game even more. He might not have the shiniest statistics, but all he does is win football games. And for the second straight week, it has been Keelan's decision-making and his running ability that has opened up this 21-point lead.
And kept this offense on pace and on rhythm. 4 possessions in this game, if you don't count the kneel down before half. 4 possessions and 4 touchdowns.
Short kick. Fair catch signaled for by Maxwell as he hangs on to this one. So back to the drawing board for the Golden Bears, down 21. Novak had this offense moving on the last drive before the interception.
Had a lot of momentum on that drive coming out of half. They're running the football well. We saw Novak keep it on the ground as well. A couple throws down the field, looked more confident as well. We'll see, is his confidence rattled at all after throwing that first interception, not just of the game, his first interception of the entire season. What does he do here to try and bounce back?
Once again, one of his favorite targets, Lanique Preston, not out there. He is nursing an injury that he sustained in the first half. So how will Novak respond? It's a quarterback keeper over the left side, and there goes Novak, and he has an alley. Novak in the foot race. One man to beat. Makes a cut. Zigzags on Gatlin. Touchdown. There is a flag down back at the line of scrimmage.
And the Harding staff is already walking down. I think they think this is on Harding. Potentially lined up in the neutral zone.
Offside. Number 91. Defense. That penalty is declined. Result of the play is touchdown.
And it was. Brock Napton, the sophomore defensive lineman, was lined up in the neutral zone. What a play. We talked about Judd Novak's ability to run the football. Everything that he's done throwing the football, so much that he can add on the ground. This is always designed for Judd Novak. Makes one miss, spins around a defender on the back end. A huge play to recapture some momentum. And that, Sean, is how you respond after throwing your first interception of the season.
75 yards, and just like that, Novak finds the end zone, but Smith off the upright, a clanger from Will Smith. Kutztown, though, able to find the end zone with their redshirt junior. Interception a few moments ago, no problem. Poised to break this one all the way. 75 yards to the house for Novak. Little drama early on in this second half. Novak throwing the football, 9 of 18, the touchdown and the interception. But take a look at his running numbers today. 75 of those 98 yards coming on the last play from the line of scrimmage.
This pass rush for Harding, one of the best in Division II football. One of the ways you neutralize that, keep the ball on the ground. You add that extra hat when your quarterback runs the football. That was exactly what this Kutztown team needed. A little shot in the arm, the energy back in the building.
And now an onside kick, ball rolling free. A flag is down, as I'm not sure it traveled the necessary 10 yards. It looked like one of the Golden Bears touched it. But a flag down. Kutztown thinking they have the onside recovery, but a huge call coming here.
Offside. Number 6. Kicking team. 5 yards from the previous spot. Free kick.
And it wasn't illegal touching. It was just offsides by Zach Perda. And that is a heartbreaker if you're Kutztown. That was executed perfectly against a team in Harding that did the exact same thing a week ago against UTPB. And now, instead of having the ball at midfield, this will be a great look at it. Left side of the screen, number 6, working back in from left to right. Where is he at when this ball is kicked? Boy, I don't know. Sean, that is close. If he was offsides there, it was by half his helmet, maybe. Surprised to see that get called.
Perfectly executed kick, all for naught. So after the penalty, back at the 30-yard line for Nate Millard. And Millard will put all the strength behind this one. Inside the 10, out past the 20, taking it to the 29-yard line. So the question becomes, the million-dollar question, if you're a Golden Bear, can this defense get a stop?
And can they stop the midline? Anytime Andrew Miller at the fullback position is getting the ball between the tackles on that midline or veer, right now Harding is picking up those chunk plays, 5, 6, 7 yards every time on first down. And as you see here, 4 out of 5 drives. The only time they've been stopped at -1 yard, that was taking a knee to go into half. So is there any answer on stopping the dive on the midline or veer and then forcing the ball to the edge?
From the 30-yard line, Keelan forced to pitch it, and now it is Jay's turn. Into the secondary goes Brayton Jay. Jay to the 20, to the 10, and Harding comes right back. The uppercut from the home run hitter, Brayton Jay.
stop the midline, get it on the edge, and there's no one left for the pitch man. Stop the quarterback, stop the midline, but you still have a third element. And Braden Jay, that is the last guy for Harding that you want to see in space if you're a Kutztown fan. Makes them pay for another score for the Bisons.
Nobody in college football throughout their career in Division II has averaged over 12 yards per carry until Braden Jay arrived at Harding. That number's going up after this one, 70 yards to the house. What a career it has been for Braden Jay at Harding. I mean, you look at his numbers as a slot back in this offense. This is a career number. 12.5 yards per carry for a running back coming off 3 consecutive 1,000-yard seasons.
Best in college football history, and the next closest is under 9 yards a carry. So he's a home run hitter. He's the definition of a home run hitter, and you saw exactly why right there. Most of the damage had been done on the ground between Andrew Miller and Cole Keelan, but there's no one left for the pitch back on the edge, and like we said going to break, that is the last guy for this offense that you want to see in space.
One explosive play after another in this third quarter. Herta will give it a crack, a yard deep. Herta working his way to the far edge, now starts to change course, and good pursuit defense on special teams by Harding. And let's not forget, Clements calls up the onside kick. Looked like he called it up at the right time. It was executed nearly flawlessly, but the offsides call took away a little bit of momentum, and now ball's back in the Kutztown side.
And called on that guy right there, Zach Herta, who is offsides by a whisker. And been that punch counter punch, like a boxing match the last 2 possessions. Kutztown 74-yard touchdown run from Judd Novak. And Braden Jay answers right back. First play, huge 70-yard touchdown.
Trevor Moore in the slot to the near side on first down. Novak will hand the ball off, and good surge for Stephen Burkhart. And look at the big block thrown downfield by the Upshaw finalist Ryan Chernecki, number 75. He had a Harding defender a good 5-6 yards beyond where Burkhart was tackled.
He's a really good tackle on the edge. He's had a great season for them. Well, I think a lot of football left in his career if they do not come back here today.
Yeah, we asked the coaches for Kutztown, what do you think? Tackle? Are you thinking guard at the next level? And they said it's been a mixed bag. They've had a lot of scouts coming through talking about him, and some see him inside, some still see him on the edge. First down run to the 31-yard line. Clark Griffin the tackle.
You know, with 6 minutes and change in the third quarter, you would look at this deficit and say there's still plenty of time to come back from 3 touchdowns. The problem is Harding has the ability to play keep away like no one else in the country. Last week, they got the ball back with 8:44 left in the fourth quarter, and they didn't give the ball back to UT Permian Basin. So maximizing possession, staying on the field, that's why it's so important, not only that you score, but try to get a stop or 2 on defense.
And that drive last week to seal it was huge because Permian Basin was coming. Novak, that one sails on him. He was looking for a Morin. And then we talked about it. It just puts so much pressure on an offense when you know that you're only going to get the football for a limited number of possessions when you play Harding.
And that Harding not only has the ability to grind it out and have those 10, 15 play drives, but they've also got home run hitters like we just saw with Braden Jay. Right, you have a big score, get it back to a 2-score game, got some momentum. What happens? 70-yard touchdown and your offense is back on the field.
Second down and 10 for Novak. Hand the football off 5 yards into a pile of humanity. Up to the 35-yard line goes Burkhart. You know, you look at these 2 running backs, Jaden Stewart, Stephen Burkhart, both arrived in the same year, very close, not just on the field, but off the field. Burkhart had a medical red shirt in 2022. He was a Really good three-sport athlete coming out of the state of New Jersey. Marcel Quarterman, the offensive coordinator, does not have to change a thing regardless of who is at running back. Both very similar skill sets. 3rd down and 5. Novak's going to have to hustle. Just did get the snap away. Nearly stumbled out of the chute. That slowed him up, and Harding is able to recover. Nowhere for Novak to go. Hit by Clark Griffin. And you got to go for it here, Taylor.
There's no question. I think that call, the quarterback draw, to me was a signal from Marcel Quarterman, offensive coordinator, that, okay, if we don't get it here, let's pick up something to get it to a 4th and short, 4th and manageable. But a great stop by Harding. And yeah, exactly right, Sean. I don't think there's any question down 3 touchdowns against the defense. You have not stopped them once when they're on the offensive side. And Harding, I agree with going for it here.
Line to gain is the 41. 4th down. Novak with a clean pocket. Fires, and it's incomplete. Just beyond the reach of Jamin Bryant. And the Bison celebrating across the way.
And there's that guy again in coverage, Ty Duggar, 2024 All-American. We were not expecting to see him going back the 2 4th down stops. This was earlier in the game. Touchdown to Lanique Preston that gets punched out by Curtis Jackson. This was a massive play in that first half, and then another 4th down stop over the middle. Their All-American safety, Ty Duggar. Good coverage. Ball is too far away from the receiver. And now it's getting late early here for Kutztown.
This will be quite a story post-game with Duggar, who was ruled out earlier in the week. They thought they had lost him for the season because of an injury sustained in the opening week of the playoffs, but a huge boost for a secondary, and he's one of the best rover safety positions players in the country. Now an injury timeout for Kutztown, one of their defenders on the turf.
Defense.
But Sean, you're exactly right. Just on the margin for error when you play a team like Harding. You have to maximize possessions. You have to score when you get the opportunities. Takeaways, have to protect the football. They make it so difficult on you because they play so clean on the other side. They really don't turn the football over. They don't beat themselves very much. They chew up a ton of clock. And you're seeing a great example of it right here. Once you get down and you have to play with a little bit of desperation, it becomes incredibly difficult against a team that is already difficult to beat.
Paul Simmons knows what it takes to win a national championship. You go back to 2023. This was an offense that rushed for over 6,000 yards, 6,100 plus, which at the time was an NCAA record. 3 touchdowns from Braden Jay. That was an offense that featured Blake Dela Cruz at fullback, and he had a big game, but it was Jay using his speed, counting up the number of scores he had as they just ransack Colorado School of Mines. And it's the same formula. Jay is making his plays. Keelan, the ultimate leader at quarterback. They have a new fullback in Andrew Miller. They bring in Christian Franklin via the transfer portal. They have an athletic offensive line, and the end result, a large lead late here on the road in the semifinals, and they just keep adding to an already NCAA record rushing total this year that now has exceeded over 6,500 yards. Incredible numbers. 2nd down and 4. They will pitch it to Jay. Jay, yards after contact, not to be denied. Takes it all the way to the 20 before Freddie Redder was able to drag him down.
And running with toughness. We saw in his 70-yard touchdown, breaking tackles and showing speed, but this run here looks like he's going to be tackled right around where the 1st down marker is. Able to show that strength, fight through a missed tackle, and extend that play to get the 1st down.
306 yards today on the ground, and they have spread it out. We started at the top of the show, the number of weapons they have, and here is Miller. Look at Miller go, and he powers his way. 1st and goal. Just here, Hardin hanging on for dear life, and you can see that they are sensing the blood in the water right now.
Right off, see that veer action. Good read from the quarterback. Cole Keelan hand that off, keep it in the hands of their fullback, Andrew Miller. And you're exactly right, Sean. This is starting to feel like the knockout punch here if they score.
Miller cut down at the 2. Franklin with 27 on the ground. Miller now has 70 yards. Jay over 100 yards. Keelan approaching 100 yards. You just pick your poison.
And it comes in waves. Every time you feel like you've got one person bottled up, there's somebody else that has playmaking ability. They've taken turns through 3/4 of this game.
Miller on that last carry, crossing over 1,900 yards this season. He will look for the end zone, and he is in. Touchdown, Harding. And the national champs from 2 years ago, sensing a return trip to warmer weather next weekend.
Nothing special about it. Exactly what they have done all game and all season. Running right at you, see if you can stop it. And the Harlan Hill finalist adds to his total another touchdown on the ground for Andrew Miller.
Andrew Miller, growing up, always admired how hard and physical a running back Marshawn Lynch was. Loved watching film on Marshawn. He was his favorite player. And you look at the hard-nosed approach that Andrew Miller has taken over the past few years. Again, the backup to De La Cruz on the national championship team. Really hit the market last year, rushing for 1,000 yards, and now closing in on a 2,000-yard campaign.
I was about to say the same thing, Sean. He's 1,903 yards. What is looking like will be a national championship appearance for Harding, and they still have a quarter to play. 2,000 yards in college football, playing 15 games. It's hard to wrap your head around how productive he's been. And then, oh, by the way, Braden Jay's over 1,000 for the season. Cole Keelan over 800 yards on the year. Just going back to, we talk record setting. This offense came into the game, they had already broken their own records, over 6,300 yards rushing and 80 touchdowns. They've added to both of those totals, just pushing that record out even further.
A very festive, noisy environment all of a sudden has gone eerily silent. Herta from his own 7. Tackled at the 20, the return of 13 yards. The Division II playoffs continue with the championship game next Saturday on ESPN2. For more information, visit NCAA.com, the home for all NCAA championships. In case you're just joining us, earlier today, Ferris State, the defending champs, took care of business over Newberry. That was a 1-versus-4 matchup. Keep in mind, in Division II, they reseeded after the quarterfinal round with the 4 semifinalists. Kutztown, the 2 seed, Harding, the 3 seed. And it's been the road team this afternoon into the early evening hours, putting on a show. First down give, and there is not much.
And that was something when we talked with this staff from Harding. They made it clear they did not appreciate where they ended up being seated. Felt like they deserved to be the 2 seed, that they should have been able to host this semifinal game. And when we asked Paul Simmons about that, he said, look, our response just has to be to go out and prove that we're the better team, show that the committee got it wrong. And I don't think there's any question right now they are sending that message.
This is such a tight-knit group, and he talked about how they really enjoy the road, but they were upset because so many of the family and friends, because of affordability, just could not make the trip up here to Pennsylvania. And you've been to a Harding game, you know how passionate the fan base is back in Searcy, so a lot of the folks could not make the journey north. But he knows, and if it's any indication of a couple of years ago, the fan base, if this score holds intact, that will arrive in McKinney will be huge like it was in 23. Third down from the 27-yard line. Novak Looking right, nothing there. Now trying to buy some time. Here comes pressure, fires off his back foot, and Priscilla is there. Good job by Novak, buying as much time as he could.
Great throw, and a nice job extending this. When he lets go of this football, he's working away from the line of scrimmage. I mean, this is real arm strength, going backwards to put that on the outside shoulder. That's as good as it gets on the move there from Judd Novak.
Novak, a big family guy. He's the youngest of 5 in the family. 3 sisters who all live here in the Lancaster area. His older brother played for Kutztown. Here he is dodging defenders and turning a loss into a positive play as he goes into a protective skid at the 39.
Sean, you talk about for Harding not being able to host this game today, how big that would have been for their crowd. As you saw those crowd shots that we showed earlier from the 2023 National Championship, it was a sellout in McKinney. I think Kutztown, credit to them for the crowd that they've brought out here today. I think if this holds and you see Harding return to McKinney next week, we should expect something very similar. They will travel well and pack that stadium out.
Second down, trying to find any type of daylight over the right side on what might be the final play of this third quarter. Plenty of scoring in quarter 3. We saw the explosive play from both teams, but the national champs from 2 years ago hungry to get back. We march to the 4th. Harding in control. Alongside former Rice quarterback Taylor McHarg, Sean Kinney, welcome you back to Kutztown, where Harding has put up 42, close to 500 yards of offense for the Bisons from Searcy, Arkansas, on the road. 42-13, they lead it as we start quarter number 4. 3rd down and 3 for Novak. The Golden Bear quarterback trying to scramble his way to the 1st down, and he will get there as he is pushed out of bounds, and some pushing and shoving after the play. And that was Clark Griffin in the mix. Novak joined with him, and those are 2 fierce competitors, 2 leaders for their respective teams.
There's no question, and Novak has shown a lot of heart in this game. It has not been there in a way that I think they would have hoped for, throwing the football down the field. Most of the production has come on the ground, but I think you're seeing him take that step forward, even in a game where if this holds, they'll lose in the semifinal, but he has shown a lot of toughness so far today, specifically running the football.
41st career start for Novak, 37-3 as a starter, and they go right back to him, and this time he is thrown down hard by Justin Sobczak.
That was somebody coming into this game that I thought would have a big night. Justin Sobczak, 8 sacks on the season, 11 tackles for loss. I really think they've done a good job, Kutztown has, with Ryan Chernecki, of slowing him down. As you see, Kutztown has been derailed on offense. That season average of 44 points are well below that tonight at just 13.
2nd down, over the middle they go, and the pass is caught. Rich Pacheski has had a good game today, filling in for the injured Lanique Preston. Pacheski, who has a touchdown catch, moves the sticks here, a 1st down catch of 9 yards.
He had the big one-handed catch over the middle, and I think he just caught that with one hand. Ball kind of snuck up on him. Good snag from Pacheski.
And not, again, talk about enough how well this Harding defense has played tonight. This is an offense that was red hot coming into this semifinal game. 3 straight 50-plus performances in their road to the semifinal. Almost a sidearm type throw, and Bryant with his 2nd catch of the day takes it up to the 36, tackled again by Clark Griffin.
Drive Kutztown has working here. The challenge again, it wouldn't matter who you were playing on the other side. Down 42-13 in the 4th quarter. You got an uphill battle. But Harding, there's nobody better in the country at sitting on the football and bleeding clock than Harding.
Tough uphill climb for the Golden Bears here on their home turf. Novak will hand it off. Good cut there by Stewart. He'll pick up another first down to the 29-yard line. 6 more yards and another tackle for Griffin, who's closing in on yet another double-digit tackle game.
And credit also to Kutztown for getting to this point, right? That in 2 out of the last 3 seasons, they've gotten to the semifinals. And that Jim Clements, that they are building a standard here as well. We know about Ferris State. We know about Harding and the success that they have had. But I don't think this is a flash in the pan for Jim Clements and this team. Clearly not. Having 2 out of your 3 seasons end in the Final Four, I think they're knocking on the door, and it doesn't look like it's going to go their way here tonight, but they are becoming one of the premier programs at the Division II level.
All right, look at the play clock all the way down to 1. Novak wanted to go deep. Now he floats toward the pylon, and good job using the sideline as the extra defender. That was Corey Dean. Boy, that was really good secondary play by the youngster. Are you surprised, Taylor, got a little more urgency offensively from Kutztown?
I think they're still just trying to operate their procedure. There's not a lot of up-tempo in this offense to begin with. But I was going to say credit on the back end to Harding. Their secondary tonight has been solid. Anytime you've seen a shot play taken from Kutztown, there's not really been a great place to go with the football. There's not a lot of separation. You don't have guys running wide open in big windows. It's been tight coverage all night from Harding.
Second down up the middle with Stewart. You know, you talk about the secondary for the Bisons. Curtis Jackson was playing one whale of a game, but we saw him go down with an injury in the first half. So obviously a lot of eyes will be on his return if Harding continues on this course and wins in this semifinal. But they get a big boost from the return of Ty Duggar, who we both thought was lost for the season. Gatlin has the interception. Dean seeing more reps with the injury to Jackson. So their depth is being tested.
And the emergence of Josh Gatlin has been huge for this defense. Remember, just a redshirt freshman, but back-to-back games with an interception.
Third down, Novak looks. He will put some air on it, looking for Crisilla, and it's broken up. And right on cue, Mr. Gatlin.
Third different defensive back for Harding to fight through the hands of a receiver from Kutztown. Great job again, not giving up on the play. Josh Gatlin, it looks like this is going to be a touchdown to Crisilla, and watch, fighting through with that left hand, able to punch this out. That's a veteran play from the redshirt freshman, Josh Gatlin.
He grew up a fan of the Dallas Cowboys, still is a huge Cowboy fan. Had a career game last week, season high 5 tackles plus the interception, and he has picked up where he left off in the quarterfinal round. They run a stunt, Novak into double coverage, just no window to be found. They were looking for Bryant. Once again, it was Corey Dean. Turnover on downs, and you can hear the roar all the way from Searcy, Arkansas, 1,100 miles away. The Bison's in control. A balanced offensive attack that just relishes the flex bone, and you see what they have done today and the damage that they have inflicted. Headlined by Braden Jay, 120 yards for Jay. Keep in mind, 70 of those yards coming on one burst from one of the fastest Bison players on this roster.
Got Andrew Miller closing in on 2,000. Braden Jay closing on a 1,500. Production continues as it looks like we'll see Malik Young get his first action at quarterback.
Miller stays in the game, and now here goes the fullback. And this is a tailback in a fullback's body. The breakaway speed touchdown. An exclamation point in this one for Andrew Miller. My goodness.
Unstoppable. Harding running the football, the best rushing attack, some would argue, in college football history, but certainly the best rushing attack this season. Able to slip through that gap untouched all the way to the end zone, and the monster day continues for the Harlan Hill finalist, Andrew Miller.
Andrew Miller is engaged. He is set to be married in 2026. We talked about growing up right there in Searcy. Went to Harding Academy. The two stadiums about 100 yards apart. He nearly covered 100 yards on this touchdown run. Bison's rolling. Oftentimes around athletics, you hear the term brotherhood, and sometimes it encompasses different meanings. But when you talk about Harding and this family, they literally mean a brotherhood. Take a look at the list of coaches. These are all coaches on the staff that played or went to Harding during their collegiate years. Just an incredible number.
Never seen anything like it. We've seen plenty of examples of staffs that they'll have a handful, 1, 2, 3 guys that played at that school. But to have the entire coaching staff be alumni that played football for your program speaks to the culture and character of this program and what they have built under Paul Simmons.
One of those names on the list was the current defensive coordinator, Roddy Moat. You know, for lots of these coaches, they went away maybe for a year or two only to come back. Moat was one of those guys, his third stint back with the team. And you look at Andrew Miller, and you could see him being a coach, maybe returning to this program one day.
Absolutely. And I think Andrew Miller's got a chance to play. Maybe it's in the NFL, but I think there's opportunities for him outside of college football. He could absolutely be a guy you could see make a roster or a practice squad. There's so many other opportunities now outside of the NFL. If he wanted to, I think he'll have a chance to keep playing football when his time is done. And then, yeah, absolutely. Would it surprise me if we see him coaching at Harding in a couple years? No, that wouldn't surprise me at all.
Novak on first down, comes near side. Crisella makes the catch to the 32-yard line. You know, you go back to Harding and you talk about this brotherhood, and the move to the flex bone offense initiated by former head coach Huckabee. You know, Simmons talks about the flex bone symbolizing everything they want to be as a program. When you look at the culture, the discipline, the unselfishness, the violence it takes to play with this blocking scheme to execute it offensively, and you take all those traits, you throw out the ego because you won't play for Harding if you have any type of ego, and it's the perfect offense, and they have it rolling right now as Novak able to find some room, takes it out near midfield.
And that's an element right there that I know not a lot has gone the way of Kutztown today, but Judd Novak's ability to run the football, I promise you Ferris State is paying attention to that right now, because that's something that they hang their hat on, something they do very well. Sean, you and I, along with Morgan Uber, will be in McKinney next week for the national championship. I think that's going to be an element that this Harding defense is going to have to shore up the quarterback run game. I think that's really the only thing, if you made me say, what could they really improve on, it's that element on defense.
Change of gear now for Burkhart into the second wave.
But you're exactly right also, Sean, on the pillars of this program and why it works. And it's a faith-based university, obviously, and a faith-based program. And the buy-in, it's clear that this program and these kids and the staff for Harding, they are bought in. And you've got to be bought in to run the flex bone, because that is not an offense that you can be on the fence or be halfway, because it weeds out people that are weak and that don't want to get hit. Because even your fullback, if they're not getting touches, they're still getting hit. Your quarterback's getting hit almost every play.
Some new faces in there defensively for Harding. Caden Spencer. And on that last stop, along with Jordan Mays, you have some new secondary players getting some reps late. Just joining us, Harding really set the tone early in the first half. They had really 3 possessions. The 4th possession was late in the first half where they had only 12 seconds to work, so they just took a knee, but they were perfect on their efficiency, scoring on all 3 of the first half possessions, drives of 68, 85, and then the real nail in the coffin, the 95-yard drive right before halftime. Kutztown is going to use a timeout.
Kutztown. This is a 30-second timeout.
Keep the action here with 7:49 to go, and when it looked like maybe the Golden Bears were going to get back into this football game, you had the Gatlin interception early in the 3rd quarter, then the missed onside kick opportunity, and that just seemed to deflate the Bears tonight.
Well, and Kutztown, right when there was a window where it felt like there was an opportunity to get back in this game, you talked about that interception. Take that away, I'm still not sure it would have mattered. There just has not been a stop all night for Kutztown on defense. They have not had an answer for Harding and their physicality and the efficiency that they run this flexbone offense. They've been near perfect on the offensive side.
Second trip in school history into the semifinals here in the last 3 years for Avalanche and the bunch of Golden Bears. A bootleg action by Novak, receiver downfield. That's Amorin with the catch, and he will get into the end zone. Touchdown. Novak off the bootleg, finding Trevor Amorin, and a late touchdown for the Bears.
A beautiful play design, bust in the back end from Harding, and Amorin turns loose. They bring him up. Just completely lose track of him on the back end. Good recognition by Judd Novak. Find the open receiver. Another touchdown for Trevor Amorim on the year.
Amorim, really a neat story. He waited his opportunity, sat behind some pretty experienced receivers, hardly got on the field the first couple of years. Knew this was going to be his final go-around, so he reignited his dedication to the sport, really made leaps and bounds, not just on the field, but also in the weight room. And he has come out and he has been a steady contributor this year.
To capitalize on that bust in the back end, still some fight for Kutztown. And like we talked about earlier, for Jim Clements and his staff and this program to be able to host a game, this is the latest in the history of Kutztown football that they've played a football game. And it's the latest, obviously, that they would have hosted a game and played a game here. Trying to continue to build and become, we think of with Harding and of Ferris State at the top of the sport. I think they're right on the cusp. Not enough in all likelihood unless something dramatic happens here today, but knocking on the door of being one of those elite teams.
Hands unit coming out for Harding, anticipating the onside. Nate Millard teeing the ball up. You have 10 of the 11 Bison's players up near that 10-yard minimum as you see them scatter. We saw Millard go right up the middle with the onside on his last attempt. Millard will try to go right back up the middle again, and this time it is picked up by Harding. It's Bodie Neal, the wide receiver. Hands unit out there, and the Bisons will take over and continue to work on this clock, leading by 29.
This is about a little less than a minute difference from a week ago when Harding got the football, 8 minutes and 44 seconds in the fourth quarter against UTPB, and they did not give the ball back.
No, they did not.
Went for it on 4th and 2 with a little over 2 minutes left, able to pick that up. There's a flag on the far side. I think, see if Kutztown was offside.
There's no foul for an illegal block.
All right. Thank you to our referee, Alan Davis.
Yeah, we talk about these running backs, the quarterback play of Keelan, but let's dive in on this offensive line. You take a look at this front five, and Jake Mitchell is their big guy, number 54. He's the Upshaw finalist as the defensive lineman, or I should say as the D2 lineman of the year. 2-year starter, 2-time all-conference player. And you know, this is a unit that has a couple of seniors on the left side. They have a young sophomore that's been a 2-year starter at center. It's an offensive line that is built around athleticism and a downhill style of blocking.
You've even got a guy in Mike Erickson on the right side. This is his first year at right tackle. And he was a tight end last year and has moved over, done a great job. Touched on Jake Mitchell, but now that we've got a number of the backups in here now, Josh Lawrence, Jude Steffen, able to work in some of the young guys to get these critical snaps, and that's one of the benefits of playing at a place like Harding. These guys have had a lot of PT this season. Jose Lopez in at center as well, getting a chance to get some action. They're not new to this. There's been a few times this season where they've had a chance to get in, and the the second half in some blowout situations.
Still hear the pads popping up here in the box. Young hit hard. Yeah, you know, both coaches talked about it. This is the 15th game of the year. Both these teams entering 14-0. But when you look at the number of snaps, the number of plays during the course of the year, it's like a 12-game season just because of the blowout wins that both of these programs have enjoyed throughout the regular season.
And you know, going back again to culture and why this is so effective, because these kids are so bought in and the type of kids and the character that they recruit here, it's not dissimilar at all from the two programs that just wrapped up, Army-Navy, and how the academies run a very similar style.
Ugly pitch there, it gets away, ball still rolling free, and Harding is able to get back on top of it. Trying to get it out wide to Brandon Hines.
Almost a fumble there on between the fullback and quarterback. I think that's where Malik Young, ball got away from him a little bit. It was the inaccurate pitch, and Harding fortunate to get on the ball.
Luke Mamana might have had the quietest season of any punter in the country this year with the Harding offense. You don't get a lot of the senior from Culver City, California. But when he has been called upon, he has been really good. Second time today he's been Kutztown inside their own 20. Priscilla with the fair catch. 5:26 to go in this fourth quarter. Ferris State winners earlier today, 49-17. Looks like it will be Ferris State and Harding for the D2 title. And Taylor, your early thoughts on what to expect next Saturday?
Yeah, I think we got the two best teams. I think we ended up with the two best teams in Division II football, and I can't wait. It's different styles, but neither one of these teams are going to be afraid of the moment. They've both done it in recent history. Harding 2 years ago, and then obviously Ferris State trying to defend their title. And I think physicality is going to stand out to a lot of people. These are both defenses that like to hit people, and they score points at an impressive clip.
Novak at the last second able to spot Jaden Stewart. He is hit hard, but Stewart with a good gain on first down.
And the other thing for next week, you know, people that maybe haven't tuned into this before, and I know Harding fans, you'll be familiar with this, but it'll be a big crowd. Harding travels well, not too far from Searcy, Arkansas, to McKinney. I think we should expect, barring some sort of crazy cold front that blows through in North Texas, which tends to happen, I think there'll be a big crowd next week in McKinney.
Good job there by Jordan Mays as he just ran right over the top of Stewart. Yeah, McKinney ISD Stadium, a wonderful backdrop for the NCAA Division II Championship. Beautiful facility right there in the heart of Texas. Harding and Ferris State tee it up, all the action coming your way on ESPN2 next Saturday. Looking forward to it. Second down and 11. Novak against a four-man rush, rolling right. Now he's going to take off. And Novak biting to the bitter end. Close to double digits on the scramble.
Novak showing again his athleticism, been by far the most positive element on offense for Kutztown tonight. Using his legs, continuing well over 100 yards on the ground tonight from Judd Novak. He's all banged up in a physical game. He's taken plenty of shots in this game, but that's another guy. He'll be back next year. This is a redshirt junior that still more football in store, and for Kutztown, for as great as this season was, I think they'll have their sights set on an even bigger prize next year with their quarterback and a number of other key pieces returning.
Yeah, what a body of work it's been for Novak, still with a year to go, as you talk about. Stewart running into some trouble, and yeah, that's just gang tackling by Harding, nowhere to go. That was Justin Sobczak, the first one to hit him. But Novak, he's led the Bears to 3 straight playoffs, the semis 2 years ago, the second round last year, 2 straight unbeaten regular seasons, 3 consecutive PSAC titles. I mean, this is the ultimate leader.
And now the next step that they've established, winning the PSAC, winning playoff games, hosting a semifinal. I think those are the milestones that once you get used to those, it becomes easier to focus and think about whatever that next step is, which for this program is competing for and winning a national championship.
Priscilla with another catch. For so many years in the Division II ranks, a lot of the power programs hail from the southeastern part of the country, but you know, Ferris State, a perennial power, they've been good for years. We've seen the rise of Mines in recent years. You talk about what Coach Clements has built with Kutztown, Simmons and Harding, a perennial power. So maybe a changing of the guard a little bit in recent years in Division II, with the exception of Ferris State. This ball batted down at the line of scrimmage.
Brock Napton getting the big paw up, knocking it down. If you can't get home, get a hand up. Great job in the middle by number 91. Watch on the right side, right down the hash. Sticks that hand up. Able to get a pass, break up, tip ball at the line of scrimmage. That's another guy. We've talked so much about Caden Spencer and Justin Sobzak on the ends. Brock Napton, he's been great for this defense as well.
He's a versatile guy. First-year starter. He was a reserve on the national championship team a couple of years ago, but this is a guy they can put over the nose of the football, as you mentioned, more on the edge as well, but they're not afraid to move him around. Fourth down and 11. Novak buying some time, wide open over the middle. First down and then some, and yards after catch for Pacheski as he takes it all the way to the Harding 27.
Job working through his progression, finding the open receiver.
Timeout.
Not done yet.
This is a 2-minute timeout.
Rich Pacheski, big play as we take it to the 2-minute timeout. It's been all Harding, but still some fight for Kutztown. Big play for Rich Pacheski. Keep this thing alive for Kutztown.
So you want to try to slow down the flex bone of Harding. The first part is, can you take away the decision maker, Cole Keelan? No. Keelan with the touchdown run, first of 2. Can you take away the home run threat? No. Jay able to go away for 70 yards.
And if you can't stop those two, can you stop Andrew Miller? The answer to that question was also no. The three-headed monster for this Harding rushing attack, picking up right where they left off from a week ago and what they've done all season. 4 touchdowns on the night for the Harlan Hill finalist, Andrew Miller. Braden Jay had one really explosive run, over 100 yards on the ground, and Cole Keelan could have had 100 yards. Pulled him, said his night was done early, but big night from that three-headed monster from Harding.
First down for Novak on the drag underneath, making the catches of Morin, and he is hit immediately by Valcarcel, the transfer they brought in.
Listen to this shot, and it's cold here too. Bang, coming up from the safety position. It's been, stands out all night. Doesn't matter offense or defense, veteran, young guy. This team for Harding, they bring physicality at every position.
They don't bring too many transfers into Harding, and this one back down. Kyle Henry got airborne on that one, deflecting it at the line of scrimmage. But you go back to Valcarcel, one of the few transfers that Simmons has brought in, and this is a program that develops. They recruit locally. They will stretch outside that 200-mile radius, but it's all about development and building the brotherhood. So when you have a transfer that fits in and slides in, that's rare for this program.
Yeah, and he's done a great job of working into and buying into the culture here for Harding.
Third down and 8 at the 25. Novak. Pressure comes up the middle. He's flush, trying to buy some extra time. Throws. Nowhere to go with it. He was looking along the far side for Bryant. Coverage by Gatlin. And a fourth down for Judd Novak in this offense.
Talk about expecting the crowd next week for Harding. And you also touched on earlier, the ability for Harding to recruit more than just that 200-mile radius, but they can really go get players in a lot of directions, including the state of Texas. Yep. Now, how many guys on this roster came from the state of Texas? Jordan Mays in the Fort Worth area, Luke Martin on the back end. He's from Dickinson. Ian Campbell as well, went to Atascocita there in Houston. A lot of Texas guys on this roster.
Three-man rush. Novak hit as he threw it to the end zone, and it is caught for the touchdown. Novak hanging in there as long as he possibly could. Pancheski with a second touchdown of the night.
And second touchdown on this corner route. Great throw over the shoulder. That's really nice coverage from Valcarcel. And watch where this ball is dropped in. There's only one place you can put this, and it's right there. Good throw from Judd Novak, and another touchdown for Rick Pancheski.
Pancheski entering the semifinal round, just the one touchdown catch this year. He has a couple tonight. Going after is up and through, and some late offense for Novak and the Golden Bears. Now, we talked about this huge crowd inside Andre Reed Stadium. No one's left. They are here supporting the Bears to the end tonight.
And this, again, a season to be extremely proud of. Undefeated to this point, 14-0, PSAC champions. And you faced a team in Harding that there's a reason why they were national champions 2 years ago. This is one of the top programs in Division II, and they ran into a buzzsaw today. But for Kutztown, this has been an extremely special season. They have a ton to be proud of. And like we've talked about some in this second half, I think what Jim Clements is building here is not too dissimilar from what Ferris State has built and what Harding has become.
This is such a rich area for high school football when you look at just the geographic footprint of where we are. So close to Philadelphia. You're 90 miles away from Philly. A little more than 2 hours away from New York City, and the great high school football in the state of Pennsylvania. And it takes the right type of player to fit in with this program. This is not a flashy program. They don't want to be that. They want to be the blue chip type as far as blue collar, working hard. And that's the type of player that Clements has brought in. Onside kick once again coming here, you got to believe, from Millard. They've been close to connecting on one of these. Nope, he is going to send it deep. Bearcats signaled for, and celebration can officially begin now for Harding.
Another return to McKinney for Harding. All that's left to do now, bring the offense back on the field. Imagine they'll just take the knee. I don't suspect Kutztown will use any of these timeouts.
There was a little bit of a Sunday pity party. Coach Paul Simmons told us when they found out that they were going to have to win a semifinal on the road. Team got together Sunday, and a lot of frustration for families who could not make the trip. But one of the players that kind of corralled everybody was Jordan Mays. He said, hey, let's go out, take care of business, and give our fans an opportunity to make the shorter journey to McKinney, Texas.
30 seconds in the lead.
And Simmons' team has done just that today.
I think they use that timeout as an opportunity to bring some of those seniors off the field together.
They left Searcy yesterday about 10 in the morning. They arrived here in Pennsylvania around 3:30. Paul Simmons talked about, yeah, we'll show up. We love being on the road with one another. We'll have a snowball fight if there's any snow left from last week's storm. Have a nice meal at the hotel after a walk through, and then we'll take care of business on Saturday. And Harding has certainly done that today. Impressive showing. Not easy to win on the road, especially this far from home. What a performance from Novak and Kutztown in what was a record-setting year. 14-1 is how they will close it out. And a lot of returning firepower for next year to keep an eye on.
And you're exactly right. So much to be proud of as a number of the Kutztown seniors coming off the field as well. But you nailed it, Sean. Judd Novak's coming back next year. Jaden Stewart, Stephen Burkhardt, and a number of the offensive linemen as well that will return. But how about this win? Harding returning to the national championship again. First time since 2023 when they won it all.
Two giants in Division II here in 2025, and the mutual respect between Paul Simmons and Jim Clements. Entering this weekend, there were 3 unbeaten teams in Division II. Kutztown and Harding, 2 of those 3, and the Bisons from Searcy advance on the Division II National Championship for the second time in 3 years.
That is the end of the ballgame.
49-27, Harding to play Ferris State next Saturday on ESPN2 for Division II supremacy. Couple of lopsided semifinal wins today. Ferris State 32 points better than Newberry, and Harding today on the road 22-point victory as they take down the Golden Bears. Head coach Paul Simmons joins us, and first off, Coach, congratulations on this win. How is this different from the semifinal win 2 years ago in 23?
I don't know how it's different. They're both so special. You know, it's just it's hard. It's really hard to, you know, all the things that the guys go through, and it's, you know, it's 15 straight weeks, no bye week, and I'm just so proud of our young men. They try so hard to do things the right way, to honor God with how they love each other, with how they work, and how they compete and handle adversity. And yeah, I don't know how they're different. It's amazing. It's amazing how we've been blessed, and we want to try to do things in the right way as a grateful response to the blessings. But I'm so proud of my kids.
Coach, you touched on it with us earlier in the week about the disappointment that you weren't able to host and that you had to go on the road to play this game and play this semifinal game. How proud are you of your guys to show the mental toughness to come out and sort of jump all over Kutztown right out of the gate?
Well, I tell you what, I told them, you know, early in the week, hey, you know, everybody's like, you know, I can't believe you guys got to travel. That wasn't very fair, but I tell you what travels. Great defense travels, running the football travels, passion, intensity, violence, and then loving one another. It travels. I mean, we'll play you in the parking lot in Nome, Alaska if we need to. All the things that this culture is about travels. And I'm disappointed, but just for our fans at home, that's why I'm disappointed that we're playing here today. But, you know, certainly really proud of the response from our kids. But I knew it was coming. I knew they weren't going to flinch in the light of all the things that went on. And even yesterday, we got to the airport at 8 o'clock. We were on the road still that night at 8 o'clock. We had a tremendous delay. We were in travel for 12 hours, but our guys never flinched. I'm just really proud of who they are.
Coach, you and I touched on this in pregame during warm-ups, but Cole Keelan, his 55th start, another win, 51st in his career, and he was clearly banged up, hobbling around some, but it didn't slow him down. Just how tough is your quarterback?
I've said it all week. The young man's got more toughness and warrior spirit in his pinky finger than most men have in their whole body. You know, that first drive, the quarterback sneak, I mean, he came out and my trainer, my orthopedic surgeon said, Coach, I don't think he can go. I don't think he can play anymore. You know, get Malik ready. And then, you know, they kind of had a long drive and immediate timeout, and I look out on the field, and there's Cole. He's one of one when it comes to toughness. I mean, the young man just tied the all-time record for wins as a starting quarterback. He's 51-4 in his career. He really is the ultimate teammate. I mean, it matters so much to him not to let his teammates down no matter what. And I told him a month ago, I said, the rest of your life to heal up. And he's like, Coach, yeah, absolutely, amen. Let's rip.
Coach, you can hear the celebration back in Searcy. I think there's a few fans ready to head to McKinney, Texas next weekend. Best of luck healing up from this one and preparing for the championship next Saturday.
Thank you guys so much. Go Bisons.
Paul Simmons, the head coach. Harding advances 49-27. They take down Kutztown in the semifinals. So Harding and Ferris State next Saturday, 4 o'clock Eastern, right here on ESPN2. Taylor, your closing thoughts on this one as we look ahead to the D2 championship next Saturday.
I'm fired up to get down to McKinney and be with you and Morgan Uber. And I think I said it earlier, I think we got the 2 best teams in the sport squaring off. This is going to be a fantastic national championship. And I think tonight we got what we expected out of Harding. They showed their physicality, both sides of the football, and that flex bone offense, it is so difficult to stop.
Harding prevails 49-27, your final here from Kutztown tonight. For Taylor McCarg, our entire Pennsylvania crew here, I'm Sean Kinney. The D2 National Championship is now set. Ferris State and Harding next weekend on ESPN2. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. Harding heading to the finals for the 2nd time in 3 years.